Hello. 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 Is this thing on? Hi guys, welcome to another episode. This week, shutter speed. Dum 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 dum. Da. Okay, so to be clear, it's not actually shutter speed, it's shutter duration. It's how long the shutter of the camera is open. First things first, what is the camera shutter? Imagine behind me, a big camera sensor miraculously appears. Shazam. And that camera sensor is equal to what you used to know as a strip of film. And it is light sensitive. In front of that camera sensor is the shutter, which is just really a set of curtains. So close the curtains. So while the curtains are closed, no light is hitting that sensor at all. When the curtains open, that's the shutter, light hits it. And the shutter duration, or what is called shutter speed, is how long the light hits the sensor for. The longer that shutter is open, the more light is going to hit the shutter. And the faster it opens and closes, the less light obviously is going to hit the shutter. So why would you want one or the other? So imagine that there's a racing car coming past you really fast and you want to freeze the action. You want to freeze the wheel rims in their tracks. You'd use a very high shutter speed. You use 1/8,000th of a second sometimes, which is pretty much the maximum of most domestic and semi-pro cameras. And that will freeze that thing solid. But the disadvantage is there's very little light coming in there, so you have to find that light somewhere else. And we'll discuss that when we get to the exposure triangle, because we'll shuffle around with apertures and ISOs. And then the other end of the spectrum is when it's open for a long time. Then you want to have less light. So again, that's part of the exposure triangle. But the reason you'd have that is if you wanted something to be blurred, if you're doing a panning shot or something like that. And I'll show you some examples of those now. Here you can see shot at very long shutter duration, and so everything's blurred. I've panned along with the subject, blurring the background, and that's quite a cool effect. It takes a little bit of practice, but around about a 40th of a second, and you'll be on the money with that. And then there's some which is a compromise of both, where you'll see that the action is pretty much frozen, but you'll see there's motion in the wheel, so it implies action and implies motion in the photograph, which is always quite pleasant. And that's a combination of a higher shutter speed and panning with the subject. So that's it, the simple guide to shutter speed. Next time we'll be looking at apertures, which is a little bit more complicated, but I'm sure I'll find a way to simplify it. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe over here. There'll be a subscribe button if you're logged in not on an Apple TV. And click on the bell, so it goes ding-a-ling, and then you'll get notified of new videos. And leave comments in the comment section. Any questions, any advice, any abuse. I've been assaulted by professionals, so I'll pretty much take anything you'll give me. Till next time.